Choose your character.
What's up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood DoolieRay, and this is the Champedex, a series in which I pick a champion from this game and take a closer look at their abilities to try and figure out how I can use them for world domination. So this month, with a brand new shiny silver boy being released to the world, and me coming back to the game, I have decided it is a good time to bring this back. It's been almost a year since my last Champedex. What am I doing? And I don't know too much about Silver Surfer yet, so I have decided to take a step back to look at another silver shiny boy that has been in the game since the actual beginning of this game. When I left the game this summer, this character was absolute garbage, and I knew he was going to get a buff. I just didn't know it was going to be this good. I am, of course, talking about the mighty Colossus. I would just like to apologize personally to Colossus for not believing in him. Turns out he is a good character. I should have known. You know, there was one person out there who knew all along that this guy was amazing.
Okay, dudes, what is up? This is my first ever rank 5, and I'm going to do Colossus. The reason why I'm doing Colossus, a lot of you may not agree with you, some of you may agree with me. I like the way he fights, I like he's got armor, he's harder to beat, and I like his fighting style. He's absolutely awesomely overpowered.
He was right all along. I should have known, I should have trusted. He always believed, he never doubted. He was the only one. We should have trusted him. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. So, I had a bit of a rank up gem left over from my variant expeditions earlier on in this year, and one of those was Mutant, and I figured it would be best to take a rank up to my boy Colossus here. So I've actually taken him up to rank 4, and I've done a bit of playing around with him, taking a look at his abilities, and man, oh man, is he doing a good job. So if you're not familiar with it, I do have a bit of a rating system on my own for looking at champions, and it runs on a system of 1 to 3. Now there's a few different categories in places where I see specific uses and abilities that are very important for champions to have. Now normally what I would do is walk through all of these one by one with you. I think we're going to try something new and just go ahead with this and just walk through the character as a whole. So let's talk about Colossus. Now if we take a look at his abilities here, he's got an awakened ability called the Mighty Colossus, which is a passive ability, and whenever one of his immunities prevents him from an effect, he has a certain percentage chance to gain an armor up buff. This guy is all about the armor ups. Of course, he's Colossus. Now, this character has been turned into a triple threat. He has gone from being strictly bleed immune to now having also immunities to Incinerate, Cold Snap, and Frostbite effects, which makes him a good matchup for specific nodes. There's a new one that's out called Freezer Burn, I believe, and that has to do with incineration, or if you're dealing with something like Mephisto or Iceman specifically, he's a good option for those now. Along with that, with the signature ability, there's also a certain percentage chance to convert one of his armor up buffs into a permanent one, which I believe stacks up to a maximum of 20. So at the start of the fight, Colossus gains a number of armor up buffs equal to 2, plus the number of X-Men champions in the team, including himself. So he's always going to start out with at least 2 armor up buffs. Now, these armor up buffs can stack up to a maximum of 20. They all increase his armor rating. So this is going to significantly reduce the amount of damage that you can take in a single blow. That's kind of nice as far as the defensive abilities go. And for each armor up buff that he has as well, they also increase his critical damage. So for the damage that he outputs, he's going to pretty heavily rely on getting crits. And when you get a parry, a well-timed block, you have a 100% chance to gain an armor up buff, which is going to last for 15 seconds. Now, if you don't have parry in your masteries, then he is going to actually stun them as if you did have parry. He'll stun them for 1 second. If you do have parry, instead of that stun being applied, what'll happen is he's just going to deal a certain amount of direct damage back to the opponent. On his special and on his heavy attacks, his attack rating is increased up to a certain amount based on the amount of armor that he has. So the more armor that you have on this guy, the more damage you are going to be dealing. Now, if the opponent is stunned and you throw a heavy attack, that stun will be purified and you'll put a passive fury onto yourself to deal even more damage. If my math is correct, it actually increases your damage by up to 300% depending on the amount of armor that you have. Now for his special attacks, on his special one, there's not really too much use for this. You may not find yourself using this a lot, but throwing it, you gain 1 permanent armor up buff, and you have a flat 5% chance per armor up buff to inflict a stun on the opponent for 2 seconds. So if you need to throw it, if you need to stun the opponent, you can definitely do that. The stun only lasts for 2 seconds, so it's not really something that you can chain, but it is something you can do if you need to. Really though, the damage is mainly going to come from the special 2, which is an unblockable attack, always. And when activated for each armor up buff, he has a 50% chance to gain another, lasting for 15 seconds. Now, this goes above the maximum cap that you have, so if you already have 20 armor ups and you throw this special 2, you can actually end up with over 40 armor up buffs. I mean, you can have armor ups that are not permanent, that go above the cap, and you can throw that special 2 and get some insane armor ups. Now, when you throw your special 3, you're going to activate what's called Organic Steel. Now, this is going to further increase the amount of damage that you reduce with all of your armor up buffs and everything. And while this buff is active, you will be unstoppable while you're blocking. So if you look, I mean, if you're blocking, you're completely unstoppable, and you can just immediately interrupt your opponent's combo and get right in and start doing some damage. So as far as abilities go, that really covers everything you need to know about Colossus. Now, he has a few synergies that make him a bit important, and that's actually what I've brought into this fight against Winter Soldier here. I want to show him at his max potential, and then I'll show him kind of a little more on his own. So taking a look at the synergies here, he now has a synergy which will grant him a Fury buff at the start of the fight, which will give him 50% attack and 50% special attack rating that lasts for 15 seconds. I don't think it's really that great. It's not super helpful. It's nice to start off the fight with a bit of damage, but you're not going to be built up at that point. You're not going to have any special attacks to throw, and it runs out before you'll be able to do anything, really. What I do like, though, is his synergy here with Juggernaut and Unstoppable Colossus, called Feel Siderax Embrace. He actually has 2 synergies with Juggernaut. If you're going to use any synergy that Colossus has, I would definitely recommend this one with Juggernaut. What happens is, for each armor up buff that you have, you will also have 1% attack rating, so you can grant yourself up to 20% attack rating all the time if you get all those permanent armor ups, up to however many armor ups you can actually build yourself up to if you're throwing those special 2s. He's got quite a few other synergies as well, just with other random mutants. They deal armor and health. Those are just pretty basic, nothing really special there. He does have synergies with a couple of other characters that actually boost him even further. There's a synergy that he has with Emma Frost, where for each armor up buff that he has, he gains 2% power for his hits. That gives him some extra power, lets you throw more special attacks, equals more damage. Hooray. He also has a synergy with Omega Red, where for each armor up buff he has, he gains 2% attack, and on every parry he also will gain an armor up buff, so you actually gain 2 armor up buffs for each parry, and 3% attack if you're running a synergy with Omega Red and Juggernaut. So you can build him up very, very high. You can get a lot of attack with the armors that you have, and this guy can deal some major, major damage. So to show him in a bit of action, I've done some digging around to see what kind of quests I can do. There's actually this quest in Act 6 that I've not gotten through yet. There's a biohazard node that I struggle with. And I'm not going to be able to take in 4-star champions, so the synergies that I have here with Emma Frost and Omega Red, I am unfortunately going to have to drop along with the Nick Fury. So all I have left is this Juggernaut synergy, which will still be beneficial for Colossus, but it's not going to be quite the same. I should have done a bit more testing. This is Act 6. It's very serious, very hardcore. But with Colossus, I mean, of course, totally doable. So let's take him first up against this Invisible Woman. She's got Biohazard and what's called Clapback. So when a poison, shock, bleed, incinerator, plasma is placed on the defender, the same is applied to the attacker. We don't have to worry about that. Well, Force Field is active, fights more defensively, she fights more aggressively. Okay, shouldn't be too much of a problem. She can be parried, she can be stunned, she can be taken down. Oh, this guy's good. He's good. 19,000 on that heavy attack. Not bad at all. I just have to be careful about hitting into the block, that's all. Because of the whole... This seems to be a bit of a problem. Alright, we're gonna try that again. Okay, she's not invisible. Boom, boom. do some damage. Actually healing myself up because she put exhaustion onto me. I think we need to break this before she loses the force field or she'll go invisible after this. I don't know why she does it. I just know that she does. There's a 13,000 crit. The heavy attack there. Just hit into her with a couple of mediums, so she comes at us. We'll parry again. Get 18,000 on that heavy attack. Get another 10,000. Easy peasy. Alright, she's gonna turn invisible in just this. No, she's not. Is she gonna turn invisible? When does she turn invisible? Invisible woman. When do you turn invisible? Can you explain? Oh, there we go. Why did it pop? Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't know the answer. Alright, come on. She plays really defensive because she's got that force field. We broke it, so let's go ahead and throw the special 3, except she threw the special 1 as I was pushing the special 3 button. Lame. Okay. Still got a brutal special 3. Now I'm going to have that special organic steel buff. She is invisible. Dude, I am blocking. This game is broken. I have a bit of willpower going, so that's kind of nice. There, I really shouldn't be doing this bad. It's just, I suck. That's the main issue. Alright, it's broken. Let's deal some major damage. She's not invisible. Let's deal some major damage. I'm having a hard time finding a good place to throw the special 2, which is where you get really a lot of special attack damage. Sitting at a steady 10 armor up buffs at least, I think. Oh, now she's invisible. Let's break that. And now she's got her force field, which makes it really, really inconvenient for throwing this special 2, I gotta say. Yeah? How about that? It's unblockable, so I threw it at her. Figured that would be a good idea. It worked out pretty well. How does Invisible Woman work? I don't know. Oh, I thought that I'd mistimed that. Okay, we end the fight at 80%, which for Invisible Woman, she's probably one of the trickier fights on this lane. Speaking of which, I probably should have looked at the lane. We got a MODOK, we got a Mysterio. Don't really know how Mysterio works, unfortunately. We'll go at it, though. We'll punch our way through. That's what Colossus is all about. He's no longer the metal noodle. He is now the metal man. Alright, so the buff that she has, cornered. Well, I'm not going to apply any debuffs to her, so this is okay. As far as the damage she deals to me, okay. Oh, if you pay close attention, alright, watch when I parry. Look at the damage that I do. That was 860 just on a parry. 860 damage, just parried her. That's cool. Alright, and she doesn't have any annoying stuff like Invisible Woman, so this is a much, much easier fight. 10,000 crit on that heavy attack. Oh, dude. This guy is delicious. It's absolutely scrumdiddlyumptious. I hit into her attack. I'm stupid. Don't do that. Bad Dooley. Bad Dooley. Look at how much damage is dealing. It's 800 damage. Am I going to be able to get through this path? I don't know. Isn't that the question? I guess this gives you a good demonstration, though, of, like, what a normal fight will be like. Now, I guess this isn't super accurate to Alliance War or anything like that. I guess I should kind of walk through how those work. I mean, Alliance Quest, he's got immunity, he's got the armor up so he doesn't get hit super hard. He's pretty sustainable. Really, the only thing he's missing is some regeneration, which is not an ability that he should have in the first place, but it just cuts down the helpfulness of his actual attacks. Can we get some crits here? Got one crit. Maybe I should get some more crit synergies on the team here for Colossus. The main issue is that final boss at the end. I know I'm going to need a champion that can make her bleed, but I won't be dealing any damage. Okay. Got her down. Throw a special 2. Hopefully this finishes her if I get a crit. No, it does not. I can heavy attack too, without needing to. Alright, so we went from 80% to 8%. So if I played that smarter, I definitely would be able to make it further into that path and do really well just hitting into the block. Makes Biohazard a little bit difficult getting the poison, especially with how much damage it deals to Colossus. He's not poison immune. He is immune to a lot of other things though. So as far as the characters I've looked at so far, Colossus ranks up pretty highly. He's an A-class champion by my rating, and as far as just his total summary goes, there's just a couple of things. his advantages. He's got so many immunities, he deals such high damage, and with the armor ups he has, he's able to take a lot of blocked damage as well. As far as his weaknesses go, he doesn't have any regeneration, so that kills a bit of the sustainability there. And if he ends up in a matchup where the opponent cannot be stunned, if you're in Alliance War, you're fighting a node that is stun immune or just in questing, then you're going to be in trouble because you won't be able to get that Fury, you won't be dealing quite as much damage, it will be a lot rougher. You can still throw special 2s and get damage from that, but without the heavy attacks, a lot of your damage is gone. So overall, I would say Colossus is a really, really good hero. If you have him and you have him as an option to rank up, I would say go for it. I would say he's a very good option, especially for rank 4 as a 5-star, maybe even rank 5 as a 5-star. I believe he is available as a 6-star, so those of you who pull a 6-star Colossus can now celebrate because you just got yourselves a dang good champion, and he doesn't necessarily need to be awakened to be a good champion. The awakened ability definitely helps. Getting those permanent armor up buffs is very helpful, but that is not critical to who he is as a character. He still deals lots of damage from just the basic armor ups that he gains throughout the fight. So yeah, there you go everybody, Colossus. That was a good buff. It was a good buff, and he's a good character. So there you go. That's the Champedex for today. We'll see what I decide to do later on. Until I see you next though, you guys hang in there. May the RNG be with you. And peace out.